Hello and welcome to Express News. I'm Gautam Roy, and now for all your quick-fire updates, let's begin with the top story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a high-level meeting with chief ministers of all states and union territories via video conferencing to review the status and preparedness of COVID-19 response and management, with special emphasis on 8 high-focus states. Haryana, Delhi, Chhattisgarh, Kerala, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Gujarat and West Bengal got focused attention. The modalities of COVID-19 vaccine delivery, distribution and administration were also discussed during the meeting. The PM remarked that the country has faced the pandemic through concerted efforts, and in terms of both recovery rate and fatality rate, the situation in India is better than most other countries. The Prime Minister talked about the expansion of the testing and treatment network and noted that special emphasis of PM Cares Fund has been to make oxygen available. He said that efforts are on to make medical colleges and district hospitals self-sufficient in terms of oxygen generation, and informed that the process for establishing more than 160 new oxygen plants is underway. The PM reassured that the government is keeping a close watch on the development of vaccines and is in contact with Indian developers and manufacturers, along with global regulators, governments of other countries, multilateral institutions and international companies. Prime Minister Modi noted that the priority of vaccination is being decided in consultation with states. The requirements of additional cold chain storage has also been discussed with states. He asked chief ministers to ensure regular monitoring of state-level steering committee and state and district-level task forces to ensure better results. Prime Minister Modi also forewarned that past experience tells us several myths and rumours are spread around vaccines. Rumours about side effects of vaccines may be spread. He emphasized that such attempts need to be tackled through spreading greater awareness by taking all possible help, including civil society, students of NCC and NSS, and the media. The chief ministers praised the leadership of Prime Minister Modi and thanked the central government for providing necessary assistance in improving health and infrastructure in the states. They provided detailed feedback of ground situation in their states. India has registered less than 40,000 daily new cases after 6 days. The number of daily new cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours stands at 37,975. India's testing infrastructure has seen a significant boost with 2,134 labs across the country. 10,99,545 samples were tested in the last 24 hours. India's total cumulative test count has crossed the 13.3 crore mark. An average of more than 10 lakh tests have been conducted daily, and it has ensured that the cumulative positivity rate is sustained at low levels and is presently following a downward trajectory. The cumulative national positivity rate stands at 6.87% today, less than 7% mark. The daily positivity rate is just 3.45%. Higher volumes of testing eventually led to low positivity rate. The tests per million has increased to 96,871. 42,314 patients have recovered and were discharged in the last 24 hours. The active caseload has fallen to 4,38,667. Present contribution of active caseload to India's total positive cases stands at 4.78%, following a declining curve. The recovery rate has also increased to 93.76%. Total recoveries as of today are 86,04,955. 75.71% of the new recovered cases are observed to be concentrated in 10 states and union territories. Delhi has reported the maximum number of single-day recoveries with 7,216 newly recovered cases. 5,425 people recovered in Kerala, followed by 3,729 in Maharashtra. 77.04% of the new cases are from 10 states and union territories. The Supreme Court has sought reply from the centre, states and union territories on a plea demanding a cap on RT-PCR tests uniformly at 400 rupees instead of varying rates across the country for COVID-19 tests. The petitioner has claimed that different rates are being charged for RT-PCR tests across the country, whereas the actual cost of the test is just 200 rupees. A deep depression has now intensified into a severe cyclonic storm, Nirvar, over southwest Bay of Bengal. It's very likely to cross Tamil Nadu and Puducherry coasts between Karaikal and Mamlapuram around Puducherry tomorrow evening as a severe cyclonic storm with a wind speed of 100 to 110 km per hour, gusting up to 120 km per hour. In Maharashtra, Enforcement Directorate has conducted raids at Shiv Sena MLA Pratap Sarnaik's residence and office in Thane. Two-day All India Presiding Officers Conference in Kevadia is starting tomorrow. The theme of this year's conference is Harmonious Coordination of Legislative, Executive and Judiciary, key to a vibrant democracy. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is undertaking a visit to Bahrain, UAE and Seychelles starting today till the 29th of this month. During the visit, he will be meeting his counterparts and other top leaders of these countries. Jaishankar's visit to Bahrain today and tomorrow will be his first visit to the country as External Affairs Minister. Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla will visit Nepal day after. This will be the first visit of the Foreign Secretary to Nepal since he assumed charge. President Ramnath Kovind today visited the Sri Padmavati temple at Tiruchanur in Andhra Pradesh. The President reached Andhra Pradesh in the Air India 1 B777 aircraft during its inaugural flight to Chennai today. The Air Quality Index this morning in Delhi again slipped into the very poor category with the AQI clocking in at 400, according to the latest estimates updated by System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting and Research, that's SAFAR. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that momentum of reforms is continuing during the pandemic and will also continue going forward. Addressing an event of the CII, the Finance Minister said that the economy is facing a reset exercise. Sensex touched a high of 44,601.63 and ended 446 points higher to settle at 44,500. Nifty touched another milestone today as it crossed 13,000 for the first time and settled around the day's high as well. Gold prices fell sharply today in Indian markets, continuing with their weak trend for recent weeks. On MCX, gold futures fell 0.9% to 49,051 rupees per 10 grams. Meanwhile, silver futures also tumbled 0.9% to 59,980 rupees per kg. Led by gains in international oil prices, Brent crude futures were up 0.1% to $46.09 a barrel on Tuesday after closing 2% higher on the previous day and 5% in the previous week. Petrol price on Tuesday was hiked by 6 paise per litre to 81 rupees 59 paise and diesel price rose 16 paise to 71 rupees 41 paise per litre. Today the Indian rupee was at a price of 74 rupees 11 paise per dollar with a slight softening of 2 paise against the USD. In Maharashtra, Enforcement Directorate has conducted raids at Shiv Sena MLA Pratap Sarnaik's residence and office in Thane today. The raids are linked to his alleged involvement in a money laundering case. The ED is conducting searches on top group promoters and related members, including some politicians. Searches were conducted at around 10 places across Mumbai and Thane. COVID-19 virus has infected more than 5 crore 96 lakh people. Over 4 crore 12 lakh people have recovered worldwide. The COVID-19 virus has so far claimed over 14 lakh lives globally. US continues to be worst hit in terms of infections and fatalities, followed by Brazil in terms of deaths. The US has witnessed a surge in average number of COVID-19 deaths for the 12th straight day. Coronavirus hospitalizations in the country have also surged nearly 50% over the past 2 weeks, and with this, US has surpassed 2,63,000 deaths with 1.2 crore infections. Brazil ranks second after the US in terms of death toll with over 1,69,000 COVID fatalities so far. The World Health Organization has said that organization was waiting to see more details on the efficacy and safety of AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine and urged other developers to maintain efforts in order to provide enough doses for billions of people. AstraZeneca has claimed that its COVID-19 vaccine could be around 90% effective. WHO's chief scientist urged other developers to continue work to meet global needs. In the US, hundreds of people are getting tested for COVID ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday. Washington, D.C., the city government made use of baseball stadium to administer COVID tests. Meanwhile, New York Governor pleaded with residents to stay home and avoid gatherings as COVID-19 continues to spread ahead of Thanksgiving. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson set out new measures to replace COVID-19 lockdown in England starting the 2nd of December. Johnson added that measures had reduced COVID infection rates and would be eased from the 2nd of December onwards as promised. England will effectively return to a pre-lockdown tiered system. Specific details around which areas fall under which tier will be announced later this week. Johnson also stated that all Britons at high risk from COVID would be vaccinated against the disease by Easter. UK has more than 1.5 million cases recorded in total and deaths have crossed 55,000. Germany is moving to extend its lockdown restrictions to 3 more weeks in a bid to control the growing spread of COVID-19 ahead of Christmas. The country had earlier closed schools, entertainment venues and restaurants to tackle the pandemic. The new restrictions are likely to halve the number of people allowed at private gatherings to 5. The graph of the number of cases of COVID-19 in Germany is swelling up, with a nationwide tally of cases crossing 9,47,700 while claiming more than 14,600 lives till now. Spain's King Felipe VI self-isolated 1 day after coming in close contact with someone who tested positive for coronavirus. The 52-year-old king has suspended all his public events for this 10-day-long quarantine period. Meanwhile, the royal palace said that Queen Letizia and her 2 daughters will continue with their activities. Restaurants have reopened in Spain's Barcelona after COVID-19-induced closure as Catalonia is easing restrictions in a phased manner, although a nighttime curfew will remain in place. Spain has also reopened theatres, cinemas, musical halls and outdoor sports facilities with a 50% maximum occupancy. Spain has over 16,06,900 cases of COVID-19, while the number of fatalities stands above 43,000. Chile reopened its main airport to foreign tourists under strict measures after being closed 8 months due to the coronavirus pandemic. Travelers must present evidence of a recent COVID-19 test that is negative, health insurance, and they will also have to report their health status for a 2-week watch period. Chile further plans to gradually reopen other airports to reactivate its tourism sector. Chile closed its borders in March to halt new coronavirus cases. In Bolivia, violent protests erupted out between protesters and police following a demonstration by local residents to demand benefits for school children. The protesters blocked the entrance to municipal offices and threw items at police, while the police had to use tear gas to disperse the protesters. Bolivia is tangled in protests with agitators demanding local officials provide school supplies and other education benefits to children. Hostels in Malaysia that house workers of the world's largest glove maker, Top Glove, went into lockdown on Tuesday after more than 2,000 workers tested positive for coronavirus. At one of Top Glove's hostels in Meru, hundreds of workers were placed under tight surveillance with police and army personnel guarding the entrance. Malaysia's health ministry reported a sharp rise in cases in the area where the company's factories and dormitories are located, with 2,453 workers testing positive for the virus out of 5,767 screened. Saudi Arabia invited media on Tuesday to inspect damage to an Aramco oil tank following a missile attack by Yemen's Houthi group a day earlier. An official from Saudi Aramco said one of the site's 13 tanks were out of action, but customers were unaffected by the missile strike. Aramco said on Tuesday its domestic fuel supplies were not affected by an attack from Yemen's Houthi group on a petroleum products distribution plant in the north of Jeddah city, with operations resuming 3 hours after the incident. Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthi forces on Monday said they fired a missile at and struck the facility. US President-elect Joe Biden on Monday unveiled a slate of top foreign policy and national security picks, including the first woman to lead the US intelligence community. US veteran diplomat Antony Blinken was nominated as next US Secretary of State, Jake Sullivan as National Security Advisor, and Linda Thomas-Greenfield as US Ambassador to the UN. A zoo in Denmark has figured out a new and safe way for Santa to greet children during the pandemic, having him sit in a giant snow globe. The Aalborg Zoo in northern Denmark, Christmas celebrations are already at full swing. To ensure everyone's safety, this year Santa is spreading cheer and greetings his visitors from inside a giant corona-safe snow globe. Patrick Quinn, whose personal battle with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis helped power the Ice Bucket Challenge fundraising campaign, died several years after his diagnosis. QUINN was the co-founder of a campaign named Ice Bucket Challenge that raised more than $220 million for medical research into ALS. The Ice Bucket Challenge went viral on social media in the summer of 2014 when people around the world posted videos and photos of themselves dumping buckets of ice water on their heads and challenging others to do the same while urging donations for ALS research. Four magnetic penguins from Chicago's Shed Aquarium stormed the stadium in a recent visit to neighboring Soldier Field. The penguin field trips are important for the birds, providing variety and ensuring that just like in the wild, no 2 days are the same. Field trips to various locations in and around the city are a regular part of the penguins' routine. The only surviving shark model cast for the 1975 Oscar-winning film Jaws found its final home this month at the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures in Los Angeles. The museum unpacked and installed the 1,200-pound, 25-foot model shark nicknamed Bruce the Shark. This model was the fourth and final model derived from the original mold. The first three models, cast in latex and rubber, rotted and were destroyed. This model was the fourth and the final model derived from the original mold. The first three models, cast in latex and rubber, rotted and were destroyed. Officials and well-wishers gathered for a farewell party of lonely elephant QUINN before he sets off for a new life in Cambodia. After years of campaigning by animal rights advocates and pop star Cher to rescue him from grim conditions with no companion, QUINN was finally said to be airlifted to an elephant sanctuary. Sports Arm Badminton Association of India General Secretary Ajay Singhania met Union Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju to discuss the comeback of badminton in India with the staging of prestigious India Open. The tournament is scheduled to take place in New Delhi next year. The 2020 edition had to be cancelled due to coronavirus outbreak. Theo Walcott scored his first goal since rejoining Southampton in their Premier League draw at Wolves. Walcott returned to Southampton on a season-long loan from Everton in October after leaving the club for Arsenal as a 16-year-old in 2006. Walcott put Southampton ahead in the 58th minute. However, it was not enough to earn a victory because Pedro Neto levelled with 15 minutes left. Southampton are still fifth in the table. They would have moved to third in the table if they had won this match. Burnley secured their first win in the Premier League this season as victory over Crystal Palace moved them out of the relegation zone. Burnley had lost 5 and drawn 2 of their first 7 games to leave them second from bottom in the table. Chris Wood's early strike, Burnley's first goal at home season, proved the difference. The win moves Burnley up to 17th on 5 points, 1 point clear of the relegation zone, while Crystal Palace remain on 13 points in 10th place. Arsenal and Leeds have both condemned the vile abuse directed at Pepe and Alioski after Sunday's Premier League game. Pepe was sent off after 52 minutes of the draw. Sea Eagles player Keith Titmus has died at the age of 20 after falling ill following training. Titmus had yet to make his National Rugby League debut but was in his side's 30-man squad for next season. Quarterback Joe Burrow, the #1 overall pick in this year's NFL draft, will miss the rest of the season after suffering a serious knee injury. The Cincinnati Bengals confirmed that Burrow will require reconstructive surgery. He is likely to be out for between 9 to 12 months. Burrow suffered the injury at the start of the third quarter of Sunday's defeat to Washington, when an opposing defender fell onto his leg, which twisted underneath him. Daniil Medvedev has expressed hope to have a long and healthy rivalry with Dominic Thiem in the years to come. Thiem leads the head-to-head 3-2, but Medvedev beat the Austrian in the summit clash of the ATP finals. Bollywood actress Kangana Ranaut and her sister Rangoli Chandel have moved Bombay High Court and filed a petition against the Mumbai police's allegations against them. The sister duo filed a plea seeking to dismiss the FIR registered against them at the Bandra police station. The Bombay High Court will hear Kangana and her sister's plea against an FIR lodged by the Mumbai police, alleging that the sisters tried to create a divide between communities with their social media posts. The winners of the 48th Annual International Emmy Awards were announced on Monday from a live virtual ceremony in New York. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, the awards were held virtually for the first time in the history of international Emmys. India earned its first Emmy for Delhi Crime and Best Drama Series Award. Over 40 nominees were live from 20 countries remotely, and winners accepted their honours in real time. Glenda Jackson won the Best Actress Award for Elizabeth is Missing. Vertige de la Chute won the Best Arts Programming Award, while Responsible Child bagged the Best Mini-Series Award. Hollywood had come up with some notable twists with a romantic comedy movie named Happiest Season. The director and co-writer of the film, Clea Duvall, said that she felt there was a gap in the market for LGBTQ films with a lighter touch. Today is Catherine Marie Hegel's birthday. She's an American actress and former fashion model. She started her career as a child model with Wilhelmina Models before turning her attention to acting. Today is also the birthday of renowned Indian film actor, producer and screenwriter Salim Khan. He was awarded Padma Shri in 2014 and has also won 6 Filmfare Awards. Amol Palekar, a well-known Indian actor, director and producer of Hindi and Marathi cinema, was born on this day in 1944. Palekar made his debut in 1971 with the Marathi film Shantata. Golmaal, Rajnigandha, Baaton Baaton Mein were some of his well-known Hindi films. Deepika Padukone kickstarts shooting for Shakun Batra's upcoming project Pathaan alongside Shah Rukh Khan. Shah Rukh Khan will reportedly end his 2-year sabbatical with Pathaan. John Abraham will also be seen in the movie and it's being shot at YRF Studios. Well, that's all we have for the moment in Express News at the moment, but the latest continues right here on DD India. Stay tuned.